Now, there's no use making funky hook baits if you ain't got a funky rig to put them on. And this one, like the muzzer, was shown to me by a friend. Dovey showed me the muzzer, and this one was shown to me by none other than Gaz Ferrum. It's a rig he'd been using to great success on a number of waters around Yateley, and it's one that I've adopted on the venue I'm fishing, the Essex Manor. Again, the reason for changing over to something like this was that I wanted to fish pop-ups to get above the silkweed and stuff that I was faced with, but on the venue I was fishing, everyone was using the chod rig, and I just think the fish had got completely used to it. A lot of fish are getting lost, a lot of hook pulls, just this general stuff that you think's going on underwater, fish just getting nicked in the edge of the mouth. So you need, I personally need another solution, something to make it happen. So this is the little rig that I've adopted off Gaz. It's very similar to the concept of the 360 rig. However, the 360 is very dangerous. It gets caught up in the net, it tears fish's mouths, which is, you know, an absolute nightmare. You don't want to be using something like that. But this one, really easy to do. It incorporates a micro swivel at the first point. So what I do is I take off 4 inches of supernatural hook link, 18 pound, and then tie on the micro swivel with a 2-turn grinner straight on the end. The next job is to put that onto the hook itself. So I've just fed that over the point and it's running in there. Now the strange bit here is you're actually going to start a knotless knot in reverse. So with the swivel facing in and the hair, or sorry, the hook link running up, I'll go through the front of the eye and then whip the knotless knot as normal and then come back through the back of the eye towards the point. So it's the start of it's in reverse. So you end up, as you can see, with the material on the inside. The next job is the most complicated job. Basically, what we're going to be doing is adding the supernatural to IQ. I've used the IQ. I like the fact that obviously it's a fluorocarbon, it's invisible, and the 15 pounds quite supple. So even though it's you know, stiff enough to keep the hook link away from the lead and stop tangles, it's also supple enough to take up the contours of the bottom. So it gives you a bit of versatility. The knot that you're using is something called the Albright knot. It's actually really easy to do. It looks quite complicated, but what you do is you make a loop at the end of the fluorocarbon, fold it back on itself, so you're just pinching a loop in your hands, and then simply you feed the supernatural through the loop and then wrap it around the body of the loop 7 times, and then ensure you put the tag end back through the top of the loop the same direction as the hook's coming through. And then all you do is just gingerly work that knot down. It's really easy to do. Just work it down, wet it, and ensure it all bunches up neatly. It isn't sort of tangled up or cutting into itself, and then just slowly draw it down, pull it tight with a puller tool, and you've got a perfect combi rig. It's all up together, lovely, looks the nuts. So basically I pull that nice and tight, and then just a little bit of putty over the top. Now when I'm doing that, what I try to do is to put more putty on than I think I'm going to need for the pop-up. So I'll put it on to start with, and then simply it's time to put the bait on. There's one of the cell little cork balls that I tied up. This time all I do, take a bit of hair braid, put it through the eye of the swivel, the other end of the micro swivel, pull it straight, thread the boilie onto it with a normal braided needle, pull it on, and then as you can see, look, I've just plugged the swivel in there, pull that down, and I'll make a little granny loop at the end of the hair braid, and then simply just trap the boilie stop in there, pull it down, a couple more knots to secure it, and then with a lighter, just blob the end of it, so it's all neat and tidy like that. Job's a good one. And then finally, the key part for me is to get it balanced and balanced perfectly. So like I said, I put more putty on than I need. I'll then test it in the edge, and I'll keep pinching bits of putty off until it's sinking, almost like that, just ever so slowly. And what you find when you're feeding boilies, fish are coming in and hoovering, they're picking up different sizes of baits. That's something I've always told you how to fish, is put multi-size of boilies out there. It gets fish rooting around and looking for different sizes, and then they come across this one, it's balanced perfectly, wolf, it's in the back of the mouth, and you've hooked them. Job done. So a rig, well worth trying, get on it. Well, there we have it, 28 pounds 4 ounces. They're getting bigger, taking on that combi rig again, this time with a little muzzer effect and a little KD rig setup. Awesome carp, and hopefully there might be a bigger one yet to come. Brilliant.